When I left home, I didn't know what that meant. I've always been a follower, and when someone tells me next steps, I will match the footprints exactly. I didn't want to be gone, but I didn't want to be stuck. That was all I knew, and for a while, that's all I was. Neither here nor there, in the in-between of homesick and home free, driving 60 miles not to say, don't forget about me, but I don't want to forget. I wasn't alone or lonely, I just wasn't. In a tower, creating a cocoon for the body instead of finding its soul. But the self is a community art project, and my extremities began to rot, so in search of embalming, I followed the poets. I took the fragments of who I was and what I feared becoming, and the wordsmiths and the artisans held them up and said, "Here you are whole." And I felt myself awaken, my boots on the stage, roots in soil, and I responded, "Here we are holy." And I will never fully belong to this plane of existence, so long as my mind craves the freedom of multiverses, but to you, this is an ode. I had coffee with the sun, and they said while we sipped and swapped stories that to them, this was church. But to me, a heathen, a heretic in search of, this is home.
As I talked about bricks and boards with my Kung Fu student, he asks me, how can I break through something? So I told him about metaphor, how the board is just another obstacle and we do not strike its surface. We hit past, through to the space after the block. I explained that stopping at that which impedes your path means you're never going to be able to break through. Truth, I told him, is much the same. It's found underneath the surface, beneath the grain that's been ingrained in your brain. Half of martial arts training is restraining yourself from thinking the same ways you had before. He asked me, will it hurt? I asked him if he'd ever seen a baby immediately after it had just been born, and did he think it cried because sometimes breath burns your throat, or did coming through to the beauty of the world bring the price of pain in exchange for a chance to live a new life? He asked, how do you know you can break a board if you've never broken one before? I answered, don't know you can until you have. There's never a guarantee except for the one that you make to yourself. Remember that martial arts is your metaphor, so you have to attack a problem with your entire body. Fist should never move separately from heart, and breathing makes all this movement possible. Yet sometimes this basic act of breathing is the toughest act you will ever have to master. It's a skill to keep breathing. It is a skill to keep yourself from thinking of only the boards which block your progress. This is a skill that takes work, but anything worth owning will always take work. But he asked, will it hurt? I answered yes, but don't ever let the threat of hurt stop your body from breathing, because strength, it's never found on the surface. It only surfaces once we've been able to break past doubts and disbelief. We're not born in this world crying from the pain. We are born, and that first breath brings freedom of expression unlocked by oxygen. You later learn to focus and move with everything your body has to offer, but you are not born with sovereignty over your soul. It's only a toll you can pay through perseverance, and owning yourself takes breaking through the blocks in your past, breaking past the obstacles in your present, knowing that this work is always going to be worth it, because this work is you and you are worth it. We talked about boards and bricks. He wanted to know how to break through something. I told him you have to breathe, and then in yourself, you have to believe.
My grandfather was a farmer. He kept pigeons in the coop behind the house. Hundreds, fluttering wings, rustling feathers. My grandfather was a father. He kept his children safe. 2 daughters, 2 sons, fluttering wings, rustling feathers. For the pigeons, he bought seeds. For my mother, pearls. Whatever they desired, he provided. My grandfather, former farmer, father first. Whatever they needed, he provided. The pigeons sold for enough pesos to pay for college. My mother is a daughter. She begged him to come. My grandfather was a father. He begged her to stay. Both of them were children of the mountains. She climbed until she could no longer see him, and he climbed farther. He climbed until the smoke had cleared from his lungs, until the fog cleared from her face, And farther he climbed, until the air became thinner, and his skin sagged, until his bones became thinner, and the sun sagged below him. And farther he climbed, until his ears gave out with a pop, and his teeth fell from his mouth. And farther he climbed, until he reached me. And still his hands reached for the sky, and further he reached, and further he climbed, until at last he could finally hear the sounds of fluttering wings and rustling feathers.